I'm Maria Fitzpatrick, your NDP candidate in this upcoming election for Lethbridge East. In 2015, when I was first elected, I promised that I would represent you, and I have every day since then. I am incredibly happy and privileged to be able to represent Lethbridge East, and I will say that I show up, I listen to the constituents, and I speak up on their behalf. I made sure that in the legislature they knew where Lethbridge was and what our needs were. I met with City Council. I met with multiple groups and agencies to hear what their concerns and their issues were to bring forward. Rachel Notley's team and I will continue to...
Thank you, Maria. That is your 1 minute. Thank you very much. Next up for opening statements, Mr. Nathan Neudorf from the United Conservative Party. Sir, your 1 minute begins now.
Thank you. My name is Nathan Neudorf. I'm the United Conservative candidate for Lethbridge East. In the next few weeks, you'll hear all you can take with political policy, platforms, and all kinds of spin. But what's more important to me is how you feel heard. I've spent the last 25 years living and working in Lethbridge with my wife, who's a nurse, with our 5 children who've gone to every level of education within the city of Lethbridge. I've worked with almost every single institution within the city. That has taught me how to listen, how to hear, and now the next step is how to represent the hardworking people of Lethbridge East. They deserve to have a voice in Edmonton that represents them, that knows the hard work that they put in every day at work, whether it's blue collar and private industry or whether it's public. If my job here today is to earn your vote, let me be your voice in Edmonton. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Neudorf. Thank you very much. Our third opening statement for this Lethbridge East debate belongs to Devin Hargreaves from the Alberta Liberal Party. And Devin, your time begins now.
Thank you. I'm Devin Hargreaves, and I'm honored to be your Alberta Liberal Party representative for Lethbridge East. We've been doing a lot of time on the doors and talking to real voters, and what we're finding. We met a young mother the other day who works in healthcare, and she's concerned about the proposed cuts the UCP is going to make and things like that. We're here to represent not only Alberta but Lethbridge, and the Alberta Liberal policy is different. We're looking to cap classroom sizes. We're looking to support workers and small businesses with lower taxes and fair wages. We'll get the pipeline built. We're already calling on the federal government to call for more accountability on that. And I'm asking for your support today because I will fight for our future. Thank you.
Devin, thank you very much. We now move into the questions and rebuttals. We have 3 candidates, so we have 3 questions. Here's how it works. Each candidate will get 2 minutes to answer their own question, and then the other 2 candidates will then have 30 seconds each to respond however they see fit. And Maria Fitzpatrick, again, from the NDP. The first question is yours. Urban drilling has been obviously a controversial topic here in Lethbridge, especially on the city's west side. And it recently came to light that Tamarack Valley Energy was given a 2-year lease for an oil production well out near Cottonwood Park without City Council's prior knowledge. The question for you, Maria, should cities have absolute veto power when it comes to oil and gas production inside their municipal boundaries? You have 2 minutes and your time begins now.
Thank you for the question. And I'm certainly somebody who is familiar with taking a stand on urban drilling, in particular fracking. And it came before our government, and in fact we did put a motion that fell in line with the city's position that they should be notified and they should be involved in the hearing and part of the decision-making process. So I'm in support of that, and in this particular case, that regulation came into play in January, and the decision for Tamarack actually occurred in November. However, we did reach out to the city through the AER to advise them of the appeal process, and our government reached out to the company to see if they would stop drilling until further discussions had occurred.
Okay, Maria, thank you very much. Our first response or rebuttal of the evening goes to Mr. Nathan Neudorf of the UCP. And Nathan, you have 30 seconds, sir, beginning now.
Thank you. I believe that I have to find some more information on this topic. We are fully in support of the energy sector and want to make sure that they have full access to all the rights and resources, but we do need to take into account the environment, municipalities, and their authorities and jurisdictions. So we'd like to take a little bit more time and realize that cities have to have a voice in what goes on within their boundaries.
Okay, Mr. Neudorf, thank you very much. And Mr. Hargreaves, your first rebuttal of the evening, please. 30 seconds beginning now.
Thank you. Myself and the Alberta Liberal Party strongly feel that the role of municipalities and local government hasn't been respected over the last 4 years. We would completely give cities the right to veto any development within city limits. And with that, we would recognize them as their own independent order of government. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving into question number 2, and by random draw, Mr. Nathan Neudorf from the UCP. This question goes to you, sir. According to the Provincial Child and Youth Advocate, Alberta's Indigenous youth make up 10% of the province's total youth population, yet they account for approximately 70% of all children in provincial care right now. Your question, sir, if this issue was part of your own personal portfolio as part of a government, what steps would you take to try and address this? Sir, you have 2 minutes for this question beginning now.
The Indigenous population within Lethbridge and Southern Alberta is an incredibly important one for the entire United Conservative Party. We want to make sure that we work and advocate for their rights, their access to education, and their care as a people group. We want to make sure that they are heard, that we work continually to grow the reconciliation program, and make sure that we are keeping families together, make sure that they're getting the help and supports that they need, and making sure that they get on to further education so they can make the most productive life choices so that we see them as a successful, integrated part in our society.
Okay. Thank you, Nathan. Mr. Hargreaves, your first rebuttal for this question, and you have 30 seconds, please, beginning now.
Thank you. The Alberta Liberal Party and myself are committed to enriching the lives and experiences of all people, be that through advocating for mental health, giving families more supports, and just building a community together. Thank you.
Thank you. And Maria, you have a 30-second response to this as well, please, and your time begins now.
I was part of the ministerial panel on child intervention, and in terms of this whole portfolio, we looked at right across the spectrum. We certainly met with Indigenous people right across the province to hear what their concerns were, in particular about the system and how they felt we could fix the problems that were occurring. They provided a wealth of information.
That is 30 seconds. Thank you very much. It is time for our first break here in your Lethbridge East debate. By the fall of 2023, the Lethbridge Public and Catholic school divisions are projecting to see an additional 870 students to local schools combined. My question to you, sir, what do you think is the best way to fund those extra bodies that will be coming into our 2 school systems here in Lethbridge? You have 2 minutes, and that begins now.
Thank you. What the Alberta Liberal Party would propose is to cut income tax for individuals making under $57,000 a year. With that, it would move to more of a consumer tax, if you will. And with that, we would have the ability to generate over $1 billion in revenue from tourism in this province. So that's a great start for the funding. We're also looking at capping classroom sizes and putting more time, effort, and energy into building for our future with how we're raising our children.
Thank you, sir. Maria, you have the first 30-second response to this question, and if you would please, your 30 seconds begins now.
Thank you for the chance to rebut. Now I appreciate the numbers you gave us. There's 15,000 right across the province, new students that will enter the education system this fall. From 2015, when we were first elected, we made a commitment to fund for enrollment, and we have done that every year and made sure there were teachers there to greet those children when they came through the door. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. Mr. Neudorf, your 30-second response to this question on education, please, with your 30 seconds beginning now.
Thank you. The first thing that the UCP has promised to do is repeal the carbon tax. This will make a significant impact in the funds available to the school district within Lethbridge, as well as our committed economic strategy to get the economy rolling. Once we have a robust economy within the next 3 to 4 years, we will see that income match the level of spending that we have at schools. That's the real plan for getting Alberta back to work and its funding back where it needs to be.
Okay. Thank you, sir. We will be right back with more of this. In Newdorf, you were selected to take this question, sir. Agriculture, obviously a huge part of the economy in this part of the world, and canola farmers are growing ever more worried about their entire industry at this point, really, after China recently banned seed imports from 2 major Canadian companies. Your question, sir, how would you advocate on a provincial level for Southern Alberta farmers being impacted by this international canola fight? So you have 2 minutes for this question, and that begins now.
Sure, thank you very much. Absolutely. Agriculture and crop production is a huge part of our economy here in Lethbridge and Southern Alberta. We absolutely have to have a government that is willing to stand up and fight for the rights of Alberta. That diversity, that production trickles down through the entire economy. And if we don't have a strong voice, a strong advocate that will fight for a free, strong, and independent Alberta, as well as across the country and around the world, we will never get the results that we need to have free access to that. We can no longer run and hide and hope that some big brother will come along and help us. We need to stand on our own feet and make sure that we have a party and a government that is willing to do that, that has the knowledge, that has the experience, and can make a difference on the world scene. I absolutely believe that the United Conservative Party, under the leadership of Jason Kenney, has that experience, has that ability, and will be the strongest voice and strongest advocate to make sure that we get our agricultural products to market. Thank you.
Mr. Newdorf, thank you very much. And by random draw again, the first rebuttal for this final question goes to the NDP's Maria Fitzpatrick. And Maria, you have 30 seconds for your rebuttal, and your time starts now.
We have advocated and supported agriculture right across this province, and in particular across Southern Alberta, since we were elected in 2015. We know that the balance during the recession was because we utilized the agriculture sector right across the province to balance our economy. And Lethbridge stepped up, and we supported everything right across Southern Alberta.
Thank you, Maria. And Mr. Hargreaves, you drew number 3, which means you get the second rebuttal for this final question. And if you would, sir, please, your 30 seconds begins now.
Thank you. The Alberta Liberal Party and myself are both respect the role that agriculture has played in building Alberta to be the province that it is. We're calling on supports immediately for farmers that are feeling the downturn, and to get those supports in place. And we also need to focus on diversifying our economy as well. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, candidates, for your responses and your rebuttals. We are going to finish this Lethbridge East debate with closing statements. Now, there are 3 of them at 1 minute each of the candidates with 60 seconds, and we are going to go back to the original order that we started this debate. So that begins with Maria Fitzpatrick from the NDP. Maria, if you would please, a 1 minute closing statement beginning now.
Thank you. For the last 4 years, I have worked tirelessly to provide you with the best possible representation, and I have been privileged to do so. I gave you my word in 2015 to represent you, and I kept my word. In this election, you have a choice to make. I believe that choice is to continue to move forward with the Rachel Notley team and myself, rather than rolling back to the 2015 prior to our coming to government. I will continue to represent you, and I give you my word that I will do that. If you want continued progress in Lethbridge East, I ask you for your vote. On polling day, vote Maria Fitzpatrick. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. We move to the center now, and Mr. Nathan Newdorf, your 1 minute closing statement, please, sir, beginning now.
Thank you. This is probably one of the most important elections Alberta has faced in over a generation. We're not just choosing a new government. We are choosing an ideology. We are choosing how a government should act, react, and fight for its citizens. We need to choose a government that will be fiscally responsible, one that will stand up for Alberta, one that will ignite the economy, reinvite investment back into the province, and make sure that the private economy is on sound footing once again. We need to make these choices so that our children and our children's children won't be paying for debt and deficit that we build up now due to poor decisions. This can be one of the most important elections in our history. So on April 16th, I ask that you would consider, that you would vote for Nathan Neudorf and the United Conservative Party. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nathan. And our final closing statement for this Lethbridge East debate goes to the Alberta Liberal Party's Devin Hargreaves. And Mr. Hargreaves, if you would, sir, your 60 seconds beginning now.
Thank you. I've always been a strong believer that if you see something that needs to be done, it's best to step up and do it. That's why I chose to run as the Alberta Liberal Party candidate for Lethbridge East. We need someone who's willing to stand up and be a voice for our riding, while being fiscally responsible and also socially progressive. I've heard from a lot of people at the doors, they haven't felt heard. They've grown tired of broken promises and delays. We need to stand up for healthcare, decrease class sizes, invest in post-secondary, and support small business. On April 16th, please vote Devin Hargreaves for Lethbridge East and help us move forward together.
Okay, thank you once again to all three of the candidates. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you. Good luck in the last couple of weeks of what will no doubt be some more hard work on each of your plates as you're out door knocking and earning